Good evening, good evening, good evening, good afternoon, good afternoon. It doesn't roll well. I'm going to stick
No.
with good evening.
All right, you do that.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to BeoTalk 260. And first of all, congratulations, Chris Jansen, for getting a job at the third best company in the world.
In
Or,
my eyes, yep.
yeah, wait, so you pick Milwaukee over Lego or Lego over Milwaukee?
I'd go Lego over Milwaukee, I think. But you
Huh.
know what? I guess older you get, you go Milwaukee over Lego now. That's for sure. Because Milwaukee makes you the money to get you the Lego you love. So, yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, congratulations. Always good times when you get a new job like that. As per usual, get some shilling out of the way. Go buy something cool at Skinny Play. Make your stuff look better, and use the promo code to get 10% off. Come join our Discord if I can copy the bloody link.
Control C.
Yeah, but it copied way more than I intended it to. If you, for whatever reason, hate YouTube, we're also on Twitch. I know that's evil to say for the YouTube algo, so please leave a like and subscribe because it actually helps. Also, if you want to become a member, there's a join button. What else
I
is
forgot to
there?
make coffee. Shit.
We are also on Substack. I'm a bit behind, but I'm sure people understand with moving internationally that nothing goes smoothly ever, it seems. So
Nope.
come and join this, the Substack. It'll be up and fully complete pretty soon. And if you want a question to your answer and or topic, a super chat will do that. Or if you want to help keep the lights on, that is also quite nice. So thank you. And yeah, let's get into what have you been up to this week?
Just a bunch of installs. I gotta mute my mic for a second. I forgot to make coffee, bro. Oops.
Here I'm all prepared with coffee and things.
No, I was doing dishes just before this and I forgot completely. Tabarnak. So there we go. My coffee's done, ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah. Also, B&O has some yearly figures we'll get into, and it's something. But
Yeah, I kind of skimmed over it. Didn't really pay much attention yet, but we can definitely talk about it later.
yeah, well, I have the thing pulled up, so we'll go over it, and yeah. It's
What kind of tape do I use for dampening the vibrations in the theater? Tessa tape. It's actually, I'll show you. It's a legit B&O part, but you can buy it for much cheaper on Amazon, to be honest with you. Is it in here? No. And I'll just pull it out of my toolbox.
It's similar, like in Europe, you can buy
It's
this.
like a hockey tape, but it's not that. It's specifically made for electronics instead of just. So I don't know if you guys can see it, the fabric of it.
Yeah, a bit
Show.
further back. Yeah, there we go. So it's
So that's what that is.
sort of like sticky Velcro, but it's not Velcro.
No, it's not Velcro, but it's definitely like that's the back side of it, the sticky part.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, I swear by this, man. It and that's exactly what the B&O cables, if they're not wrapped in that silly foam that deteriorates over the years, it's the Tessa tape. Like everything in the 90s is wrapped in this.
It's good tape, good stuff.
It's good stuff, man, and yeah, like for the theater, it really helps a lot as far as the dampening of all the vibrations. Like I said, the only vibrations that I have no control over at this point is inside the panel, and it's right on the left hand side, like right between the screws on the VESA mount, just to the right of it. And there's the only cure that I can think of is to actually taking the bloody thing apart taking the panel off, taking the back panel off the panel off, and put some, even line it all with Tessa, so it just dampens, like, fabric line, basically the inside of it. And I think that would stop it. But like, is that something that is feasible for every installation? Absolutely not. This is just my personal OCD.
Well, then again, not every installation has the Beosound. Like I don't, and I don't plan on getting one either.
No, but lately more and more I've done is either. Well, there's a lot of them on just the wall. And then some of them go with the C2 panel. Actually, this week we did an install with the C2 panel on a wall in the theater, just on its own table stand. So yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Quick question: what's the who was it? KCBR. The distance between the theater and the floor when it's on the floor stand, 31 centimeters, right? I think so.
I think so. Well, I can tell you right now. 28 and a half. So 28.5 centimeters.
On the other side too, because you have some wiggle room in the set screws, right?
Not really, unless the floor's crooked to shit. No, it's 29 centimeters.
29. Okay.
So 29 centimeters off the bottom of the theater, and that's any theater, because the only thing that differs is the width.
Yeah.
So also depends on the floor here. So, but the floor here is just, everything here is a disaster.
So
cheap construction.
I have a chair. I have a normal chair.
Yeah. So how did it go?
I can wiggle.
How did it go?
So
how did it go?
On what was it? Tuesday?
2 days ago.
We got an email saying, "Hey, your stuff is on a big rig down to Florida. It'll be at the distributor for Florida on Friday or early next week, as in Monday, Tuesday, next week."
Next week.
And then on Friday, we get a call like, "Hey, we'll be at your place tomorrow between 1 and 5. And then we wait, and obviously by 5, nobody shows up. It's like, what the fuck? So we start calling, and since it's the weekend, head office and the planning people don't actually do shit. So
yeah, it's done.
But the people that let us know actually called on their personal cells. That was the lifesaver, and the lady in charge of it actually picked up. So thank you for that. So they turned up at 6, but it seemed like a lot of shit was used as linebacker training. So a lot of smashed boxes, and I'm not that impressed. They also didn't put anything on pallets or anything. It was just like in a truck.
Fuck.
So we found some damaged bits. Like I had that stainless steel table with marble top. Well, that was on its side, and it was just dragged along the floor at some point. So there's big chunks out of the marble.
Fuck.
So
that is that. And
then I look into the back of the truck, and I see 2 big boxes on their side. Like, those can't be 50s, right? They're on pallets. Well, they took the fucking pallets off. At some point, somebody decided to take the pallets off because it would fit nicer. They were flat, like horizontal.
Yeah.
And stuff was stacked on top of them. And
fuck.
I haven't had time to look inside yet, but it doesn't bode well for a bunch of stuff.
Well, my thought is, if these fucking things, how long they have been on the side, because there's no transport screws for the lens, right, and the whole assembly. So did it just and rattled and damaged the whole top cap that would be probably have to be replaced, if not the entire lens chassis, because it's fucked by vibration.
Maybe. I mean,
I don't know about
it
the
had a this
aluminium
side up
sides.
thing on the actual B&O box, but they wrapped it again in some other plastic, and they didn't decided to transfer those important details or the pallet. I mean, the pallet was on with that like plastic. Oh, that plastic cord that's like heat fused together.
Oh yeah, the pallet strap basically, I guess.
Yeah, so those were taken off too.
What the fuck?
So it was just taped like top to bottom.
Oh my god. Yeah, I would look at them. Take the camera with you. Let's all look at them now.
I can't. It's attached on a USB cable.
Fuck.
I'm yeah. So I'm a bit scared.
That's not gonna be fun. But I would look into them as early as possible, so then, like, I can look how much this would be, or at least what parts to order.
Later this afternoon, I'll probably open them, and I hope to God that they're okay. But I mean, they are insured, obviously, but
yeah,
I just have a feeling this insurance company will fight me every step of the way, right?
They always do.
I mean, I have, well, it's a Dutch insurance company because it came from the Netherlands. So we'll see how that goes. I hope I don't need to use them. I hope everything seems sturdier than it is. And that's but if you know the B&O packaging for 50s, right? Like it's these giant styrofoam sort of bathtub. You sit them in, then you have the very thick cardboard / paper poles, and then you have the top on it. But that's not meant to be on its side.
No, that's to be stacked upright, yeah.
So in terms of, I mean, there was probably 1.5 meters of stuff on top of them.
Fuck.
Because, like, left to right like that, they fit exactly in the truck like that. So that's probably why they take the fucking pallets off. Also, because it's harder to carry on a pallet.
Fair.
So, I mean, even if they're cosmetically all right, I'm not sure if the internals are all right, if they've been like that for however many months now.
Shit.
Thank you, Ababa Lola. Quick diversion. My Avant 55 Mark I screen is taking a long time to show the picture. I expect the video engine is starting to fail. Should I get it repaired, or should I consider using Beosystem 4 with LG TV? Ooh.
It's an interesting question because there's no ARC basically on a Beosystem 4. You would have to pull the optical output into the SPDIF converter and then shoot it into the Beosystem 4 that way to get the sound. You would be able probably to use the Beo 4, I think.
With puck control, you mean?
Yeah, because I'm trying to think how would you treat that with the panel, because it's completely different. You know, like Beosystem 4 has an HDMI out for more or less picture only for the panels, right? Because the sound is treated either with the Beovision 12, which has PowerLink specifically for it, the PL6. So I'm just trying to think, how would you do that with the Beosystem 4? You could harvest the sound, but yeah, you would have to be all the sources connected to the TV, and then just have what's it called? How would you do that?
By optical?
All the sources connected to the TV, and then just have the Beosystem 4, fed with optical to SPDIF, and maybe a puck out of the System 4 into the LG panel, and you assign it on the menu as a non-BNO screen, and you should be able to trigger the thing with the Beo 4 remote. But you would have to use the LG remote from there on after, unless you want to control the sound, because there is no way to get backwards that way. Otherwise,
Yeah. It is kind of asking for some
trouble.
issues here and there. It may work, but I'm also not too sure because I read in a few places now that LG doesn't have regulated volume on the optical out, so you will be stuck with two remotes, essentially, as in like you're changing channels and stuff with your LG remote, and then doing volume with. I guess if you can find an Essence remote, you could do that. Which
Probably.
would
Yeah, I think the Essence remote can do. Yeah, it does have a video, so that you can just choose a TV, and then you would assign TV command to, let's say, HDMI input 1, and then you go into the input menu and you change the sound source from HDMI to SPDIF. So then
I would ask you though, Baba Lola, what else do you have in the mix? Is it just a TV and like a speaker or two, or do you have like a whole home setup? Or
I'm assuming that if he's got a Beosystem 4, he doesn't run just stereo speakers with a panel. Like there's at least 3. So or a full surround. Otherwise, like if it's just we've done some crazy installations where people wanted a 20-inch TV in a kitchen, and there was no other way to do it but putting a fucking $7,000 Beosystem 4 processor on the rack to control it.
yeah.
So there is sound in the speakers on the ceiling. But
If it's just a living room, you can also check out an Amando box. My sister uses one, and it works fine. And it's just eARC compatible, and it's fully PowerLink out. Yeah, it doesn't sound as good as an Avant because it obviously doesn't have all the presets. But other than that, it just works.
No true image also, right? It's just a straight, whatever the Dolby standard is, that's what you get. Yeah. There's no special sauce included.
I would check though, if ask your dealer how much it would cost to fix your Avant, because I've seen prices so all over the place where it makes no sense. Whereas like if you're in Europe, sometimes it's a lot cheaper somewhere else than like UK or even the US. So if you're in the US or the UK, it may be more of an easier answer, like because it's really expensive for some reason, right? I mean, I think I got quoted for like Beoline 5 chassis repair here in the US was like $2,500, but when I asked my dealer in the Netherlands, it was more like $1,000 a speaker, which is like, damn, that's a big ass difference.
Lab 1's is rear speakers and 8,000's is fronts. Dude, you sitting backwards.
You're in the UK. I would ask your dealer what it would cost to refurb the panel as it, or the processor as it is, since it may actually be cheaper since it's not fully dead yet, right? It may just be easier to fix. Maybe it's a cap, maybe something like that.
Also, just like to be a thought here. Why does when you turn on the screen, do you see the B&O logo going in front of it and then the screen comes on with picture? Or does it just generally is a black screen and takes a long time to turn on? Because if you just have a B&O logo scrolling across it, then you need to look into your quick start timers, because they probably got messed up either with the brownout or something. I had seen it here in Montreal a couple times now that quick start timers went wonky, and there was no other way but to actually, unfortunately, factory reset the TV and start the whole thing from scratch. And then it fixed itself. So it may not be, because to me, my suspicion is that if your video board is going, you start seeing
weird
colors and shit going on right away. Like it's not something that is just like, it's not a grandpa that takes a long time to wake up and get off the bed. Like, no, it just dies right on the bed. It's done. It just starts happening, and it starts happening right away, and it doesn't go away. and that's basically how the video engine dies. So that would be my question, that if you have maybe quick start timers are not powering on, or not set up correctly, or they just went wonky. But it may be the display itself, maybe just the PIM board behind the display that regulates the backlighting of the display. So there are a few things that can go wrong, right? Like you need to actually have somebody test it, not just like blindly order parts and throw at it and see what fixes it. Because then then it's gonna get to the point where yes, you are better off going to the dealer and just trade in the TV for an LG panel. And quite honestly, that's how I would do it. If you got the whole system, then just get an LG panel and put it as a non BNO screen and run everything through, the system 4 if you wanted to. You just the only downside is that you lose. Well, you never had 4K but 1080p, because if you had it running from the Beosystem 4, that's all you get. So, but yeah, if you want to go, let's say, utilizing all the smart stuff from the panel itself, you need to feed the panel to the Beosystem 4 optical to SPDIF.
Yeah, if it's just slow startup, it doesn't sound like the video board is going, because
to me it does not.
It sounds like OS related. Which I would say that is also a lot cheaper, because those parts are way more common.
I would also ask if you had any power outages recently, or storms or whatever, like if there's brownouts or whatnot, because that does affect the electronics in a very negative way. And I would recommend that just the first things first, what not a lot of people do and consider is, guys, it's fucking BNO. Just unplug it for a minute and plug it back in. And if it don't power on, that's when you call the dealer, because usually that fixes 99% of the problems. And if it goes to hell, then it goes to hell. BNO just don't turn on no more. Or if it dies a severe death. Like on the Beovision 11s per se, I've seen a few that people say, oh, my screen is dead. But when you take a flashlight and you shine into the panel, you can see the pixels going. Like, no, it's your pixel module interface, which is a little, what is it, $200 board maybe, that is behind the screen that you just take out and put a new one in, and because that's what's regulating the power to the backlighting of the LEDs, because it's a 1.5 dimming, right? So the screen is split, and that thing needs to regulate the light output to each half of the screen. So that fixed the TV.
Yeah, power down does resolve the issue. So sounds like quick start timers to me.
Yeah, you need to look into your quick start timers.
If your video board is going like that, it doesn't change. Like,
no,
it doesn't re-glue itself.
I've seen 3 things that commonly go with Avance. Number 1 is the video engine.
But you'll notice that it's like purple.
Oh, that's you're fucked. You turn on the TV, you have perfect sound, everything works, but the picture's it's just all over. It's like watching, Pride Matrix. And then you have the subwoofer that goes, the amplifier board on it goes. So then it sounds like the TV has demons in it. Because it just it's fucking creepy. And a number 3 is the display every now and then goes down. So, but display, yeah, we did a few weeks ago with the 10, we went to do a display change. I haven't done one, I've heard Brad doing a few, but Avance were very solid panels. So the display, when the display dies, that was straight up like it was a faulty panel altogether. But engine still shows picture properly. There's just lines across the screen. So that's the difference. So hopefully that answers all your questions. But I would definitely go and look into, under power settings, look into the quick start timers and turn them all off. Just shut them off. Just reset them. Turn off the screen, power cycle it, go back to them, and then reset up the quick start timers. And you should be good. If not, I would factory reset the bloody thing, because it's deeper than that.
Yeah, if you only have 8000s and ones connected, and the rest of the house is sort of nothing, right? Which is quite common. which is like not a dig or anything, but it's if you don't have
Mhm.
everything interconnected, I would say a factory reset actually isn't that hard to do. Like it
No,
becomes a pain in the ass when you have many rooms connected and what leads and that sort of thing. But if you just have a TV and speakers and I don't know, maybe an M3 somewhere, it's a factory reset is done quite
it's not a
simply.
pain. It's not a pain.
No.
Factory reset in the 90s per se is a pain because the calibration is so long. Like if you don't want to do it properly, like the filter building time is really long time. At least I take due diligence to measure the room properly. But yeah,
Thank you, KCBR. He says, I uploaded a picture on Discord about the missing cover on the backside of the LG. Are you sure that's a B&O part? I think it's an LG part, but not sure where to get it. Definitely not part in from B&O screen interface.
no, it is not. And the reason why it's not part of the VESA mount or the B&O screen interface is because they don't know what panel you all gonna get and end up with. So exactly that. What you need is it a 65 or a 55? I don't think those really matter. It's no, they do because the offset on the you have three pieces that you get with that cover, well, four, whatever, if you count it in the bag. I don't know if my
This is the
camera
picture.
can
It's on.
actually.
It's on the screen, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. So
Is
those
that
two metal parts, because there's one here and one under the. Here, I can do that. Uh, so this and this is part of the B&O
I
box,
can't
and
see your
there's
finger?
also a part
Where?
here that,
Oh,
and then here there's a little metal cover that is also a B&O part that comes in that box, and you get a couple, I think, screws or not screws, but those little you bend the little metal pieces where it has a sticky on one side, so you can put the HDMI and a network cable to line up so it doesn't rattle. So that's all in there, but that's what you get from B&O. That's part of what your dealer should have ordered as a part of the VESA mount. Like if you're doing it on a floor stand or
so
wall
the
bracket,
cover for
that
this, what's on
should
the
be.
screen now, is a B&O part, right?
It is a B&O part, yes. And the
It's
only ones that are sexier are if you go into the 83-inch. I think the 77, yeah, 77 too. We haven't done one on the wall, but the 77-inch also has the back cover, but it's the exact same color as and texture as the back of the TV's finish, so it looks really nice instead of having it just black.
yeah. So
So
I would say tell your dealer. I'm also wondering, did you buy the TV from your dealer? If not, he should have asked.
it's not an uncommon thing that it gets forgotten. We've had it a couple times that it got forgotten. The only thing that it's a big feels bad that if it's a 65 VESA mount and you put a 65-inch panel on it, you have to take the screen off, unscrew the back plate, the VESA plate, and then put the cover on. And then, because it's two screw holes up too high for you to be able to put it on, or one.
Yeah,
So
so
it
it's a
sucks.
55, so that should be okay. But yeah, talk to your dealer who sold you the VESA mount and theater.
Just
Because
order. It's a separate box. I don't honestly remember the part number, or yeah, part number of the box, but it is a B&O part.
yeah, because I think with the
So
G panel, it actually is covered by the wall bracket that's provided in the
well,
box.
the G2 panels, like if you buy a G2 65-inch, it doesn't come with the table stand. It just comes with that, slim integrated wall bracket from LG. So
55 too, I think.
I think 55 too. I don't remember because we saw so many different variants of the TVs. It's all LGs, right? So
Yeah.
it's just you just get mixed in a blur. And I don't really remember what they come with because most of them we stick on the wall. So it's either on our wall bracket that is slim against it, right? If the shit has to go behind it, or it's something that comes from the box itself. But yeah, those are separate parts, separate boxes that should be coming in at the time when the TV comes in.
So KCBR contacts your dealer tomorrow.
Hmm.
I mean, it shouldn't take too long to get, right? But it's annoying because I think over the weekend he installed it all. and it's sort of
Yeah, it
like,
feels bad, bro. You're gonna have to be taking that panel off. I'm sorry, because the way that the back panel fits on, it's really hard to stuff it in there without scratching something to hide the cables, because the VESA plate comes over top of it just enough to make it. So I would play it safe. And 55, come on, give me a break, man. You can just pick that shit up, no problem.
you bought the panel from LG, not from. Yeah, that's fine. But you bought the
That's
VESA
fine.
mount and theater from B&O, and they should have
Yeah.
asked you what panel you were gonna use.
Yeah, because they usually most likely would assume that you just went with like a C2 or something,
Yeah.
which doesn't need the covers, but then it rattles way worse than the G2. I haven't seen much difference between the G2 and G3. Apparently, it's a 70% more brighter output. I don't know, because we have our TV set on the automatic video settings or whatever it's, or ABS or whatever the heck it's called. That it adjusts with the light sensor, so they are just as bright. But
I don't. Yeah, we've spoken about this so many times, but I don't need TVs to be all that much brighter. They already burn your eyes out at this point.
the only time that I would counter argue that is here, where if it's so bright that it really washes out the TV. But the downside also is that the light sensor is out looking at the front, not looking at the back, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the Avant, where the Avant did compensate for that nonsense. This does not. So that's the only feel bad that you have to. If it's really sunny, I have to pull the curtain over it so I can but I can really see the panel, because it is tough to see it in a very bright.
But I doubt it's very pleasant to like have a very bright thing behind the TV and look at it anyway, because
No, it's not.
you're
Absolutely
sort of
not.
squinting all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely ask your dealer to order you the 55-inch cover plates set. And you're gonna get three. It's 3 pieces in the box plus screws.
Generic enthusiast over on Twitch says the G3 also eliminates the weird off-axis color shift. Maybe I'm not picky enough.
I have a motorized floor stand. I'm never off axis on this shit, so I don't know. That's how I solve that problem.
Yeah, that works too.
It's a good sales pitch.
If
you're watching this off axis, you need a motorized wall bracket or a floor stand, because then you have proper color correction at all times, sir. That's a great idea.
Yeah. It's so hard. TVs are so good these days. It's so hard to tell when you don't have an A/B comparison right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless you're like us, audio, a pure video enthusiast, where you go like, "Oh, that orange is not perfect," right? Like,
I can't tell that though, man.
But how can you tell when when you don't know what it's supposed to be anyway?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to have at least 2 panels side by side to like watch the same movie in a sim. That's fucking weird to begin with, anyways. And then you just it's like playing 2.5 hours of pick out the differences. Like, that stupid newspaper thing when you have those two dude on a horse and some, and here's a little blade of grass, but it's not on the other side. Like, I'm not into that at all. Like, I can barely get through the shit when my girlfriend turns on subtitles, because it really just grabs my attention. I'm like, and I understand English, so I don't know why the fuck am I reading that, but it's there, right? It's I don't know, pisses me off. I can't do it.
Oh, so Sandeep says his Beo Remote 1 started falling asleep again with the most recent software update.
I have 3, and one of them is in constant disagreement with both. Just with one. This one is in a disagreement with the Emerge for some reason. It's paired in, fucking shows up. We'll never control it. I have to just redo it again. And the one in my bed wall there is in constant disagreement with the theater. It does this. It disconnects every now and then, like completely, and then it comes back. Yeah, it's about 5 minutes. For me, it's about 5 to 10 minutes before it comes back online. So I just put it on the wall bracket. Screw it, I'll take another one. But I had pushed the most recent software, so I kind of just I can't really comment on it because it's not. It's not. I haven't used the remote that much, so I couldn't tell you. But
Years of development, years.
what's years of development on what?
Right, with the theater, with years of development. It's not years. It's like maybe 2 now. Maybe.
Well, we talked about that before it came out a long time ago, basically, because there was pictures on the patent site. We didn't know what it was gonna be or whatever. Everybody imagined it was more or less gonna be a freaking like a processor or some shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's what came out. But I don't know. I think that like in a way, like if you always rely on a third party panel construction, you're playing a very dangerous game because also there's a lot of variables of those panels as far as the models and different standards of manufacture quality and so on and so forth. So like I've never heard the theater rattle before I put the panel on it.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard the theater like it's built like a fucking tank. But if you put a C2 on it, then oh my god, it's just all over the map. Like it's unlistenable to, especially in music, when like there's no vocals that are screaming over the explosion where it kind of hides. It's just pure music, and if you put a bass in, it's just like tabarnak, man. It's not good at all. So,
Sandy, by the way, one thing I think you could probably do, which would help a lot if you haven't reset your remote in a while,
yes.
which also clears up a lot of these weird issues. I mean, it'll be annoying for a bit, but it auto repopulates and that sort of thing.
Speaking of that, you know what I wish that they did is here's a trick if anybody never knew that. If you don't want to go through the menus nonsense, you can press and hold the red and blue button for 5 seconds, which is actually longer than navigating it through the list, but it'll open the pairing mode. I think they should have the same one that you like hold power and home for 10 seconds and it reboots the bloody remote instead of you going around on a quest looking for a safety pin and then pulling it, waiting, and like there should be a way to reboot this bloody thing other than factory resetting it, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about it, it's not really that much of a pain in the ass to factory reset it because all the configuration now is inside the TVs itself, and it's done through the app. Where if this was in a IR mode when you nuked it, right, like it was a complete disaster because you have to reset and rename and reconfigure the entire interface of the remote the way you had it before. Yeah, it's under settings advanced and then factory reset, yes, and boom. Then it'll just ask you to pick the language and you're back to pairing mode. Now, I don't know, because I haven't done it yet. No, I have done it. It actually remembers it because I've deleted the remote and I put it back in, but I had more than one. I put it back in, it freaking, it put it exactly the same way. I'm voting for new Beau remote colors. Red, blue, green. Why would you go all pride like? I would go gunmetal, bro. You're in Florida. What the gunmetal color?
Yeah, but they used to do red on like 8000s. They did green on Beosound 2s.
I'm sure you can get a bespoke for like $950 that'll make it red.
I mean, I too have the silk and I have an aluminium one. As soon as I got the silk one, I basically ditched the silver one because it's like the silk one is so much better with fingerprints and that sort. It's just the texture of it that already does it. Right?
If B&O cracks the chemistry code of doing white in anodized white, they will be a very wealthy company of that patent.
Yeah, I would love that.
Because white is not possible to anodize because the white molecules of the paint are larger than the cracks that are willing to accept it within the aluminum. So somehow they need to, I don't know, take a bigger hammer, crush it down harder, fuck, and and make it fit, please.
All these Danish trolls need to come out of their case and
Just smash it hard, man. Because imagine if you sell that patent to Apple, to having white aluminium anodized phones, people will go crazy over those,
plus they would finally make some money.
and they would make a lot of money off that. So yeah, I think, don't now fire all the software people and hire all the chemists to crack that, but like, because that'd be detrimentally worse.
DJ Neo, they already essentially did a copper, was it brass or bronze? It's so close to copper.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess they could, but if you want that like actual copper hewing, then it's gonna be bare because that's just oxidation. So
Have it turn green and then sell it for $7,000, like the Beosound one, green edition. I think it's $9,000 over here or something. Like it's a collector's piece. That's all there's to it. Like, yeah, it sounds okay. It sounds better than the first edition or first mark, but it's definitely a little bit of an extravagant price, even for my taste. It's the same thing like the Berluti nonsense, but we're not gonna go there anymore. That's a long drifted boat under the bridge. So
is it though?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't mean to annoy you further, but according to their yearly figures, they want to do much more of that sort of thing.
Not with Balenciaga though. I hope.
They don't say outright who, but apparently
They're always gonna do it, and I accept the fact that they're doing it. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna get it. I'm actually surprised that people are just like willing to pay fucking $900 for an A9 cover of a dude's painting, extra on top of a Beosound A9. Good for you. Good for you, man. And you know what? If I go to these homes and I see a lot of art that I would never buy, but that's just their thing, right? It's the same thing. Like people would walk in my house like, this motherfucker never grown up. Look at all this Lego he's got. He's out of his mind, right? So, but that's just everybody's has a different thing. Like we all have a different thing, a different knack. Somebody collects freaking Coca-Cola cans from all over the world, man. Can you judge them? Shit, there has a whole room lined up on it. So I no longer get all messed up about it. Like, yes, if they're catering to these ultra rich people, and the only way to separate us regular BNO plebs from these ultra rich is to make a different color and charge stupid money for the same sound, so be it. Take it and go. I'll come over and install it in white
sure
gloves.
They want us either anymore. Seems like from now
Well, they're
on
making a mistake anyways, so
yeah, well, this mistake is going to last 3 to 5 years. So, but yeah, here, I mean, they used to do a bunch of colors, right? That contrast collection was very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they could do a bunch of stuff. I mean, they can, I guess, also do pink like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
no, I don't mind it. Like, it's fine. Like, obviously, they're coming out with the new products, and they're. How do you freshen up, let's say, an 18? When it first came out, it was only in silver and black, right?
Yeah.
And then it didn't even come in black.
No,
bullshit.
Yeah. It was just
silver. It was just silver. And then the gold came out. No, the 90th anniversary, I believe, came out. I don't know if there's another color. That's where they started to do the colors.
Yeah, the 90th anniversary was rose gold.
That was rose gold. Was I think one of the first ones that have gone with the 18s, and then they put the gold tone, brass tone. The black came around, I think, 2015, because I remember them showing us the lens on the first factory tour, and it literally looked like it was made out of plastic, because the black anodizing just looks it looks like a very high-end, high-quality acrylic almost, till you touch it and like, oh shit, this is actually aluminum, because it's cold.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that they were never, they don't, and they were saying, like, because it looks like plastic, we don't know if we're gonna do the black or not. And then the black speakers came out. And then I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't like them personally, but they look good in certain places, and especially when you slap walnut on them, they look sick.
I mean, that
So
new anthracite color looks amazing on 18s, though.
I've done a setup with those in a theater, and yeah, man, they look really, really good. They look really good. They look better than 28s because the 28s don't have polish. They have that grooving on it. So it has that, like you can
Mm-hmm.
feel the
Yeah.
texture, same like on a Beosound 1, I guess. So it's not shiny, but it's shinier, I guess, because it reflects more light because of the surface is different. Whereas polish is just, you get a, basically a mirror shine off whatever is reflecting off of it. So it makes it a little more brighter on the 28 than it does make it on the 18 when it comes to that color. So
I'm also scrolling. I'm trying to look for. Do you guys remember that picture of when was that investor meeting, like a long ass time ago by now, where they had all these 28s and halos and
I
in all those colors, and they all look.
think it was Vegas, wasn't it?
I'm being attacked by a cat.
Vegas CES, maybe.
No, no. This was in Denmark not that long ago.
Okay.
Because they had a bunch of. It was, I think, the more official launch of the custom color options, and they had like white 28s with like sort of, was it pinkish oak on
Mm,
it.
I think I remember that picture. But anyways, what's your point to them? Just the way they make the colors.
Yeah, and for like make them more like surely the options for Be a Remote ones shouldn't be fully custom. Like we should have a bit more than one or
Silver
two.
and black.
Yeah, I mean silk is nice. It's bead blasted. It's almost white.
Hmm.
I guess they could potentially bead blast it and then try to white anodize it because it opens up the pores a bit, but it won't ever be like white in the aluminium version of white.
No. Maybe when they crack the code of the chemistry and they make it happen, you never know. At the end of the day, like, the anodizing standard and process that they have is top notch, anyways. And if not, it is the best in the world. Also, I've been always looking at it, this remote, and why the bend is there. There's no way to drill the battery holes otherwise, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I still don't
So,
like the bend. I'm anti-bend. Make
but
it
yeah,
straight.
that's why there's that. And now you know.
I mean, they didn't have to remove all the material from the bottom. Could have been flat.
They bend it, bro.
Yeah, it wasn't needed.
That's bent. That's actual bendage. You just need to get over yourself. I like this remote a lot. I still think they should backlight it. Bloody hell, come on, B&O. Let's make a whatever. We're almost going on 10 years with this remote, almost, if not more. When did it come out? 2014?
Something
When
like
the
that.
Avant,
Yeah.
yeah, when the Avant came out, 2014. So 2024 is around the corner, almost, bloody hell. So let's get it backlit for a 10th year anniversary. Uh, maybe come out with a charger, talk to the guys in STB, because
Would be nice. Or some
would be very
backlighting.
nice. Would be very nice. Even if the battery needs to be changed a lot more, it'd be much nicer. And quite honestly, at that point, I would just have people buy rechargeable batteries and charge them, just like they charge their phones and everything else every night.
Yeah.
Big deal. Worst comes to worst, USB-C plug, and just charge the remote directly. Not even have to ever mess with the fucking pins and pulling batteries out and all that nonsense, unless you need to replace the cells themselves.
Yeah,
I think that's
it's
the way
not
it
like
should
it
be done.
needs to be like water resistant or anything anyway. Like
No,
it's like it doesn't matter.
be a remote shower edition. Make it IP67 standard, bro. For real. That'd be nice. I think I'm gonna grab a beer. That's what I'm gonna do. It's a Sunday.
Again, I'm not entirely sure it matters all that much, but I mean, it is an option.
Yeah, but I still think they should make a backlit rechargeable version of that remote, or make a different remote, maybe. I don't know, but something that is handheld, that has a backlighting and I guess a gyro triggered sensor, whatever. There's enough space here for around the screen to hide a light sensor that you wouldn't really see much, just like it was on the Beovision 740s. In the black ring, that was where the LED was and whatnot. So I think that's fully doable. Just upgrade the chassis. You already upgraded it once to Bluetooth, and you redesigned the buttons arrangement, which was not much too sensical when it came to it in the beginning, because the list was at the top of the screen. So every time you wanted to do something, you had to reach all the freaking top of the remote, which is stupid. But that got fixed. But the backlighting, for some bloody reason, just did not make it. Did not make it to the table of discussion. So, like, what do the guys don't use these remotes at night?
Or maybe it did, but it was like the battery life. But then they come out with software with you're saying your battery's dead in 3 weeks.
And so what the fuck? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have that overpriced charging pad. I mean,
yeah, I got two of them.
I mean, aren't they like $125 or €100 or something like that?
I think they're $200 Canadian.
That's a lot for a Qi charger.
And it doesn't even come with the power supply. You have to buy separate. I don't even know how much that was. I don't remember. I just commit blindly. So yeah, I've got two of them actually. One is to charge my phone, and the other one serves as a coaster for my nice glass for bourbon.
That's an expensive coaster, I guess.
I know, but I don't have another thing to charge, because I don't really like even the E9 headphones that I have, or earphones. I don't really use them at all. I'm not a headphone guy. Mostly where I go, I drive, so I have music in the car. And if I drive or walk around, I like to be present with what's going on, and you know, I don't know how people just ride a bike and listen to music in a fucking busy downtown and just not worry for their life. But that's just me.
Maybe they want to sue somebody.
What?
Like in the hope, like if I wear this, I get hit.
Yeah, I
can
guess
sue
so.
Somebody, and I can finally buy some B&O again.
Fuck. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's.
So what else did what was talked about? Let's pull up the document if you don't mind. I want to see what the fuck. Because I skimmed over it a little bit, and not that I was getting angry, but I'm just like, I can't even read this right now.
I took a screenshot. To me, there were some weird highlights, right? Like this is somewhere in there, and these are the things they care about, like resource efficiency, collaboration, innovation are very highly ranked, and then what is it? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is like crypto left-wing politic talk. And the thing they care least about is company financial performance, which is like
that's never important.
Interesting. It's like, how do you plan on surviving if that doesn't fix itself? Because it's it's not exactly fantastic. Also, according to B&O, B&O is very sexist against women and girls, which is a weird thing to say about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
They state quite literally that they've been keeping women out for the longest time, and they've now seen the light, and they don't yet apologize, but they basically say we were super duper sexist, but now we no longer are, which is like, okay, that's a weird admission.
Mm-hmm. That's a bit out of the blue.
Yeah, but that's all that. It's in the second slide. That's all that ESG nonsense. It's they, for some reason, they also need to be much more international and diverse and that sort of thing. Which to me is weird because, like, isn't your entire heritage like being Danish? Like, why do you like?
Why change?
Yeah, why do you need foreigners for that? Like, and by that I mean, like, even if B&O becomes more Swedish, it becomes less B&O. It's like I don't understand that. Like, surely there is something to Danish design that is not the same as Swedish design, because otherwise it would be.
It's already Swedish enough. It's already Swedish enough. Shit comes with Allen keys already, so that's draw the line, people.
I mean, yeah. So, but they decided to spend 20 odd pages on essentially politics, which is okay, whatever. It's yeah.
I wonder how much money that research cost to put all this presentation together.
I don't know. It's somebody that's good with PowerPoint can make this in like half a day, probably.
I guess. Yeah, but you need facts and data, right? Like you need to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
So
this is, I mean, at a glance, how they operate and what sells what. I mean, the stage, as in TVs, speakers, etc., is still by far the most. If you take the products we're essentially interested in, it's 59% of the company. So, but will most likely be priced out of that because it's not expensive enough yet. And then, yeah, there's a lot.
I'm actually surprised that the on-the-go products are already at 28%, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but that's including A1s and stuff,
but,
right?
Yeah. I know that's everything all the way up to, well, I guess the A9 is no longer considered that.
No, that's flexible living, but the A5 is probably on the go.
No, that's flexible living.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because it's got the network link in it. That's how I would classify those. Because none of the flexible living shit is just headphones and Bluetooth speakers like the Explorer A1, Beolit 20, because that's not linkable either. And, well, that's on its way out anyways. That's in the grave. So, but that's interesting. I'm surprised. What are these two?
The brand partnering
splits?
is like the Berluti, the Supreme, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. That's still 13%, even though that's an ominous number to begin with, anyways. But it's okay. I just don't understand what's the stage and EMEA, which is difference between, I guess it's the regions. Oh, I see.
Yeah. So EMEA is Europe, European market essentially.
Yeah.
Americas is 11%. Asia is big.
29. Not nowhere near to Europe.
Wait, so I got it wrong. Brand partnering is Cisco and other enterprise stuff.
Okay.
So we're doing worse than last year. Or I say we, but
oh, it's less, man.
I'm kind of surprised by that because the theater. I mean, the products essentially have been good. Yeah, it's just that. I mean, I'm slightly surprised about Europe that it's been in decline. Then again, its stuff has gotten seriously expensive. But yeah, it's just Asia dropping off. Like even if that drop off was like halved, they would have done better than last year. I mean, and again, for people seeing us as like haters or anything, I want them to do well. I just want them to drop the silly shit.
I agree.
I mean, and there's a lot of silly shit going on. I mean, to me, this whole sustainability thing, I don't know what to think of it because it was always already sustainable, but now it's just a label, right? It's like it's FDA approved or whatever.
This is organic, 100% certified, grown in the winds of whatever. So what is this? Sustainability.
Yeah, the cradle to cradle certified consumer electronics is 2, but further on there's an asterisk and it's 1. Wink, wink. So don't ask too many questions about what the second one is.
This is. I feel like I should be eating a kale salad reading this shit. To be honest.
Yeah.
So far, there's only 2 cradle to cradle certified products. The theater isn't. I thought it was 2, and I thought anything that had Mozart platform was cradle to cradle at this point.
No.
But isn't it the point that you can just replace the module?
Yeah, but that's not only what cradle to cradle is, right? It's also the materials used and how recyclable everything is.
Oh fuck, man! I've had the level apart, and I've seen the Beosound 1 apart. There ain't much difference, other than the
but it
level is more harder to recycle because it's got a freaking dang on battery in it.
Yeah, but it's a bit like kosher food, right? Like somebody needs to give it a blessing. I mean, not this one. That's the wrong religion.
Yeah, it's like only some of the stuff had a red dot award and whatever. Because I don't understand. You know what? The only thing that I want is a freaking walnut set of covers for my Beosound Emerge. That's what I want. I want to order the bespoke ones.
I mean, also they're just somewhere in these slides. They're very proud of that they use a lot less energy, but it's also like with making aluminium, you need a buttload of energy. It also just, to me, kind of says you made less stuff.
Yeah, but it's the same thing like people that drive, or most of the people here at least, that they drive the electric cars, they drive them because, well, the water, it's a hydro over here, right? But where we're at in Alberta, it's all freaking coal and shit. So somehow you have to make the electricity, and you offset your negative carbon footprint to somewhere completely far away because you don't no longer see it.
Yeah.
I've seen some of them Teslas burn, bro, and that's not a fun thing to see. Like, they just don't go.
Oh, they make an interesting sound when they burn. They go, but like extremely loud.
Magnesium reaction, bro. It's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, don't do this at home. Don't stick like a knife in a battery cell, but it's essentially that, but like, I don't know, 200,000 times larger.
So this is their strategy circle, I guess.
Yeah. It's just buzzword. Magical moments designed for life. It's like, okay, buzzword.
Yeah, but like they're not really explaining anything new because B&O has always been about luxury and timeless in technology and timeless in design and look, like,
Apparently, B&O was always slightly for the plebs because we're now even more doubling down on the very high net worth individuals. Because, I mean, we don't make over 500K a year. Like, we're plebs. So, like, what are we doing with them? It's like, like, buy some on-the-go stuff. But other than that...
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're the bread and butter for them because we actually buy this stuff and expand upon it. A lot of people that are wealthy, they buy it, maybe they use it, maybe they're not. But a lot of people, I think, that are wealthy, they invest their money somewhere else than electronics.
Yeah, but they don't agree with any of that.
So...
yeah, like what Sandeep says. No, in their minds, they're a mainstream company. And I mean, we are very mainstream customers, even though like the newest of new B&O things that everybody anticipated I could do a live stream on, and maybe maximally 200 people would show up. Do it for an iPhone and you have 100,000, right? But B&O is mainstream, as mainstream as iPhones and stuff are,
Mm-hmm.
which is sort of like, I don't
That's
know what paint
delusional.
you're huffing, but
It's good.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
So yeah, they're more into the design, and I wonder what they're gonna do with design concepts as a whole, because I think they should be much more unifying in their design language. Like
well, I
it's
think the only thing that's really unifying is the Noto design. They kind of follow their design, I guess the way that things look. Like if you look at the 28s in the theater, there is resemblances.
there's a
And the
resemblance to the
50s,
50s, yeah.
exactly, there is not much resemblance to the 90s because they're a very special product on their own as far as how they look. But there is a resemblance, to depends how you dress those things up too.
I mean,
But
I would be happy if they say Noto is now our uh, main design studio or something like that.
mhm.
Because I mean, it's getting a bit more, a bit better, but it's hard to see in a lot of products where like how this fits together as a cohesive design language.
Mhm.
I mean, we always harp at David Lewis, but even oh god, I'm blanking on his name. The guy before Lewis.
Jakob Jensen.
Yeah, there was a lot more like, oh, that's B&O. Like,
Mhm.
and it was visible at a glance from afar, right?
I still think they have that, to be honest. If you look at that product, like it doesn't look like anything else. Like, and if you never seen BNO, you never know that it's BNO anyways. It could be fucking Bowers and Wilkins to you also, right? Like it doesn't matter anyway, and unless you've seen the brand. But like obviously they're kind of overblowing the fact of how of their own popularity. I don't think that they are as popular, especially in North America, as they portray themselves to be. Right? A lot of people that even today, yes, the existing clients, of course, that goes without question. But a lot of people that I see in the shop, I'm not there that often. But if I see people that are new, they've never heard of B&O. They've heard of Quebec Son as a high-end luxury, audio video company that sells and installs, but they haven't really heard B&O till they come into the store and like, holy fuck, okay, that's completely different than anything I've ever seen because there is no other shop at this point in Montreal that carries B&O. So if you want to have the unique experience of that product, you have to come to us. But in the same token, if you don't know about the B&O at all, I think what spiked their popularity a little bit is that they had gotten into Fords and North
Yeah.
American like cars. But still, people, some gather to take care to look it up and see what they are, and they look, holy fuck, that's a lot of money. And some people visit the shop, but
Yeah. I think for North America, the danger is really like just look on Reddit, right? Like the amount of people complaining about their on the go stuff. Like
mhm,
if you are really after the millennial, you need to have a good on the go product, as in that's
it's gotta be fucking solid,
yes. And the amount of
seriously solid.
times people complain about connection issues with the earbuds and stuff, it's like because of that taste, they will probably never even consider a stage. Even though the stage is way more solid than any of it, right? It's like
Hmm.
it's a dangerous game to play, especially if there's nobody left in the middle, because it's like go away. Like
Hmm.
you're not gonna spend 200-300 grand with us. We don't want you. It's
Yeah, it's like walking into a Ferrari dealer and like they look you up and down like this guy doesn't spend money here,
yeah.
straight up. At the most, he's gonna walk out with a fucking ball cap from the parts department. Here you go. So
Yeah, it's. I mean,
I don't know. I think they're pushing away their really the core clientele with that.
yeah, because they're not mainstream. I don't understand how they consider themselves to be mainstream, but
But they also want to consider themselves very niche and unique. So like, okay, well, you can't sit on both sides of the fence, man. Like you either are niche and unique, or you're fucking mainstream. And being mainstream is not always that good. Like I can't compare that to Apple because the way that it's one of the richest companies there is, so they have enough money to throw at
advertising.
not even just that, they have enough money to throw at technology that people eventually throw themselves out of the window because the standard of quality is that high.
Yeah.
So, and they can afford all of that being swept under the carpet, and you still enjoy your phone. You don't even know how it was built, and like if it comes to the chassis of the phone, there's camera, a very very high resolution camera that takes a picture of every single back glass that comes in, and it picks one that fits the glass out of 500. So P&O doesn't have that manufacturing power nor capability nor a mass that they would be required to be doing that much. So
Yeah, Sandeep said the CEO mentioned Ferrari about 5 times in the web presentation, as in like advertising. They have a unique knack for picking the wrong
yeah,
horse, so to say. May it be a prancing one or otherwise. Uh, it would have probably been cheaper to stay with Williams.
hmm
And Williams is getting a lot more good press than Ferrari is at the moment because, I mean,
Ferrari suck and win, bro.
yeah, I mean, Ferrari road cars, excellent cars, right? But the race team is like, good God, can you think of any other way to shoot yourself in the foot?
hmm
So it's, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like the next year outlook is not going to be anything ecstatic. It's according to them somewhere between 0% growth and 9, which is like okay, that's fairly broad.
I honestly think it's almost too unrealistic based on what's there gonna be a new product if they're gonna come out with something, right? Whatever they come up with, it's not gonna be or it's not going to beat, in my opinion, the popularity and the sales of the theater. No way. Because the theater, if they come out with a set of speakers, it's still a better, like let's say the set of speakers that they come out with are like 10 grand, maybe 12. I don't know. If they're doing that, then we're again in like the 18s territory now, right? So if you're buying something like, would you go with 18s or would you buy a theater for cheaper money that essentially, other than imaging and stereo separation, it outperforms the 18s by a long shot? And you can attach screen to it. I'll do that. You know, if they come up with something with like a $4,000 price tag, then they're going to be probably small speakers.
Yes,
If they're going to come out with, I
but
don't see them coming out with another sound bar.
it
I
also
don't really.
goes against the strategy of going after the very high net worth individuals almost
Well,
instantly.
but that's my point, right? That where they're going with it. Like if you're going to go with something that is, if you design a speaker, in my opinion, or you come out with something, it should be at the most no bigger than a Beolab 17 because they need something that is a shelf mounted speaker or finalize the software with the Mozart platform that you can utilize, let's say, level or emerge or balance uh, Beosound 1. I wouldn't go to the A9, that's just too much for stereo, for the surround expanded speakers. I think that would make sense as but then you're not really releasing a product. It's like you're releasing a software feature which is almost invisible to people. So I don't know. I just I'm curious where that is going to go next year. Like with what product they're gonna wow. Are they going to put a Mozart platform into the Harmony? Is that their Mark II? that really didn't make any new product. It's introduced the same capabilities that are now common through the entire portfolio platform. So I just I just don't know where they're like how I don't understand the vision. You know what I mean? And especially now with like they're opening these like well, basically what I used to be a pro partner, right? But the way
Mm.
it was done in now, it was done completely behind the store's backs. They just like dude just found out. It wasn't in. I don't think it was Florida, Scottsdale, maybe somewhere. The fucking guy just came in and showed off, used their showroom to show the gear, and then effed off and ordered the product. That's a little harsh. Okay, like you have the obligation to pay, and like you get some sort of a kickback if you even do. That's a harsh way to do it. So I don't think that's a good approach. They're going there or have gone there anyways. Dealers are pissed. Uh, so the collaborations, I understand. Yes, I have my hate point on them, and they're stupid. But in the same token, I guess they make sense in order to. They do make sense and they don't make sense because they don't make sense to me as a company that's trying to be mainstream. You don't fucking do that. You don't release the same product that is almost double the price. You know what I mean? Collector's edition.
But they want to not be mainstream, yet somehow they attach themselves to Supreme, which is ultra mainstream.
That's as mainstream as it is.
It's like I don't understand. Like, yeah, it's like talking out of both sides of your mouth, essentially.
Mark says a smart speaker about the size of a BeoLab 3 that's not too expensive could attract new customers. Okay, question B then, or a follow-up question to that. What is not too expensive for you at this point of time when it comes to speakers? When the starting point for a set of stereo speakers, it is in Canada $14,000, which is the Lab 18s. That's your starting point. Then you can go to 28s, then you can go to 50s, then you can go to 90s. That's it. That's when you want to put the TV up and have speakers like in surround. If you want to go with this cash and carry, flexible nonsense, then yeah, you can do a stereo emerges, stereo level, stereo balance. Ooh, or down all the way down to the little goofy Explorer pop can.
Yeah, there really
So
aren't that many people that even have the time to go to a B&O shop, let alone then go, yeah, whatever, I'll take a set of 28. Can you have them in my house next week?
mhm,
Like, that doesn't happen very often, right? Like there's not that many people that can just
do that.
or even have a credit card with a limit like that.
You know what? I'm like, we have a lot of wealthy clients that obviously buy this product. I'm yet to see somebody that just buy the shit and then have it delivered and oh yeah, okay, that sounds like that. Everybody comes to the shop, like no matter how wealthy you are, you still have the curiosity in it to go and listen to it
Yeah,
before you buy it.
B&O is a bit of the woolen sock brigade, right? Like they're discerning older what you say, older professionals. But the key is discerning. Like you're not
Hmm.
just buying some shit. And I think they see the very high net worth individual people as people that would just buy some shit because it's expensive, which I feel happens on occasion, but it's not the
But it doesn't
main.
happen as much as it used to be. Like this is no MTV Cribs anymore. Like
No.
people actually, they spin their dollar in their hand a few times before they let go of it. And especially when it comes to like this is a frivolous expense, don't get me wrong. Like you can live with the fucking TV and a Sonos soundbar for a third, if not a fraction of the cost of what the B&O thing would cost you as an experience. And it's not a positive one every now and then because shit starts to reboot itself or whatever. Now it doesn't boot up because it's such a niche product instead of being so mainstream that they have software teams that they have feedback of like 15, 20,000 units in an hour that there's something wrong with the fucking software. Instead, they have like a call center that like 6, 7 people in US call like, yeah, we have this weird issue. So, and by the time the mothership gets to resolving it, it's 2, 3 months. So, this is just speaking being real. And I don't understand where they're improving that. I don't see any improvement on that.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, I still love the theater, but it is kind of flawed for if you're aiming for the very high net worth individuals. Like, luxury isn't having to call your dealer every other month and going like, "What the fuck's wrong with this thing?"
but Mikey, it's also a product that I had installed to people that was their very, very first B&O experience. You know what I'm saying? Like they paid a lot of fucking money for this thing, and now it doesn't work. Like, there's always some weird, and this falls off, and the fucking battery is eaten by the goddamn theater in 2 months in the remote control. And then they don't know how to change it, so you show them how to change it. So there's a video on YouTube now, thank God. But like, it's just there's always something. Like it needs to be rock solid. It needs to be rock solid. Like let's say the Masterlink was, or the Beosystem 3, where you can shoot fucking slugs at it the entire day, and it's not gonna shut down on you. Where now we live in the era of network when everything is dependable on how good the network is in the people's houses. So they also play in a game that's a gamble for any manufacturer, not just the B&O, that like
Yeah.
you are selling this product to an unknown territory as far as the network is. So you can have a great network, somebody that's too savvy, or somebody that just puts their freaking router above the electrical breaker box in the panel downstairs, and then they wonder why they have no internet. So it's
Sandeep said again, you need to listen to the actual webcast they cited. For example, Miami Art Show, they turned up at a couple of ultra wealthy types told Beano to put 90s in their various homes. These people exist, enough of them, time will tell. Yeah, but you have to go look for them. And these people clearly didn't find B&O by themselves.
A, B, they just honestly buy it in now as a sculpture and art, like that golden Beolab 90 with the crazy custom crowns and all that. Yeah, those speakers record $1 million, if not more. But
Yeah, right.
I guarantee you that guy maybe will listen to him once or twice, if they even tune him correctly. Depends who sold them.
I mean, I'm not
As
saying
we've
those people.
seen them being set up in Alicia Keys' house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't like. If that's the people that are buying them, they're really not buying them for fucking music and their actual technological prowess that those speakers are capable of doing. They're just buying it to swing a dick on a marble table and so everybody else can see how long it is. That's exactly what that is for, and I think it's a wrong way to purchase things in life, in my opinion, because it's just a frivolous waste of money. But you know what? To each their own. I didn't buy the 90s to swing a dick. I bought them because I wanted to experience the best musical possible experience that can be done.
Yeah. Be that as may, Sandeep says, but that's what they want to be in F1 paddocks, high-end art shows. It's not that hard to find them. No, I understand, but at that point, you need to restructure your whole organization, right? Like, why the hell do you have dealers at that point? Become much more custom, become much more niche.
Start shoving these things in the galleries.
Yeah, you can find them, but it's a totally different operation in my estimation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I back in the day, I used to do some catering for some. I'm not sure if it's BHN wise, but it's very NHN wise, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yes, you can find them, but you have to actively go out, and a lot of this omits any sort of eye for dealers, and I'd be much more interested in how much they sell directly than how much comes from the dealers, because I bet you most of it comes from dealers. And
I think what they're also, I think where they're also lacking the understanding of where they want to be, like, the artsy fartsy and, we're all this high end, is the fact that I don't need technical support when I buy a fucking painting.
Yes.
I don't. It's painting, bro. You hang it on the wall. If you don't know how, you get a guy
Can I
that has a
reboot this
drill.
nail?
Like, fuck. Okay. Where if you buy something like B&O, that yes, it's very artsy. If there is no technical support for it, are you gonna spend 157,000 Canadian dollars plus tax on a set of speakers that you gotta fly in a monkey from Denmark to fix them? because there is no more support in North America, yet you can still buy them online, I guess, or off an art gallery. What do you think? There's going to be some guy coming in from a gallery to fix your speakers and stuff. Nobody's going to do that. So I don't know. I don't know where they're headed with it. I think they're somewhat derailing and losing the track with reality here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they still make some, like the A5 is still an excellent product and a good
Yes.
thing. I still think, for a lot of reasons, the Harmony 97 is a good idea for the same amount of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of this networking is done through dealers, and it's not just like, you can't just count on impulse buying this. If you are, you need to slim down because you're going to have massive droughts.
But I don't understand. How do you impulse buy a 97-inch? So what is that, like a $40,000-$50,000 TV at this point?
The Harmony 97 is 64,000 US.
How about that, bro? Like, you don't just swipe that shit on your. Well, I guess you can have it on your titanium American Express, but still.
Oh, black works too. Black hard.
So, but yeah, then what? It shows up, and what are you gonna do with it?
There needs to be somebody to install it, yeah.
Like, yeah, everybody can open the box, but do you know how we take it out of the box? There's no videos on it. Well, there's video. What's his face did it that we had on the podcast a long time ago. I forgot his name.
Stig, yeah.
Stig, exactly. So yeah, look up Stig on YouTube. Are you gonna know to do that? And his was on the wall bracket, not a.
And
a
also
floor
77, not 97.
Fuck.
Like you're like an NBA player if you go 97 like that.
That's a massive screen, man. I couldn't even imagine the size of that. Like, that's insane.
I mean, the reselling of the classics, like the Beosystem 7 to 22, 23. The only problem with that I have is that they limit it, right? It's the wording of it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you say it's a limited edition of 90 and then you make 3 more, which is. But other than that, I think it's a great idea. Yes, it's very overpriced, but if you can sell them, sure, go for it. This is still core B&O in many respects to me. Mm-hmm. And this is why I don't fully get that cradle to cradle and the ecology nonsense, because like this is a 50-year-old record player that's still going essentially. It's like, right. It's always been like this. They've always been a chance. It's not a new direction. No, like, I don't understand why. If you want to emphasize like we're the green company, yes, it takes some more energy to make our stuff, right? But
it lasts way longer.
It's like 30-year-old stuff still looks new. It's like I don't understand why you wouldn't emphasize that. Like, because it's great heritage in many ways.
Yes.
But maybe that's too simple and it's not new enough or something. Everything needs to be new, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that. But I also don't get the whole new direction where they're going. I think it's a little convoluted and confusing to me. And obviously, they're going to try to back it up with nonsense numbers and.
Well, the numbers are.
They don't lie.
Yeah, it's not. It hasn't been fantastic for a while, but it's been better than it was. 2008 to 15 or whatever. Whenever that massive slump was with Beovision 14s, Avant Mark 2s. Where it was just pure hate all the time because nothing really worked properly. I think, especially if you want to target the very high net worth individuals, the first thing to target beyond even like the cost, the margin, or whatever is that it's just solid, that it just works.
That's the fucking biggest thing, honestly. Let me grab another beer.
Because that's the main thing B&O was always known for. Like, yes, there's reach arounds and whatever ways to do things, but it once implemented, it just worked.
Yes. Unfortunately, yes, we're both old enough to remember that when you bought a piece of B&O product and you turned it on, it just turned on. There was no like, oh yeah, so my $10,000 soundbar is now stuck in a fucking boot loop sequence for the last 2 hours and I can't do shit.
Yeah.
So I'm not a
KCBR
fan.
says they need to collaborate with Davidoff. You mean the cologne or the cigars?
Should make a freaking Beohumidor one. I would buy it in a second.
Well, they could do Old Spice as well. Like, Old Spice never sounded better.
Oh God, it's actually one of my friends installers used it as a notification on his phone. I just got so tired of that whistle because it's just constant.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can get away in modern ESG scheming with anything deemed unhealthy.
I don't think so.
I mean, yeah, it's. I in general wonder what's going to happen over the next 6 months to 2 years, right, with the sort of financial situations of the world, and because one of the things they're also complaining about is like the which is fair, like the whole Russia thing going on.
Yeah.
But there's a
I'm
lot
just tired of
of
listening
very
to
high
that
net worth
nonsense.
individuals there that I bet you are against the same shit everybody is, and they just said, "Nah, fuck you. You're from the wrong company or from the wrong country. We don't want to sell to you anymore." Which is sort of like,
You shoot yourself in the foot.
Well, you're scoring political points that don't make you any money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's fine if you're like an Apple, where it's sort of like, well, our our market cap is bigger than the entire market of the UK at this point, right?
Yes.
So it's sort of like whatever, it doesn't matter. But when you're B&O and that is potentially what, like a few million revenue in Danish kroner, especially.
Yes.
So, like, I understand the pressure to say, fuck you, we hate you for doing XYZ, even though you may not have, but I don't know.
But China, I think, is facing an economic trouble. They're going into a disaster of some sorts, in my eyes, from what I've been looking. I'm not going to get into the details of conspiracy.
No, I understand, but I mean, I think everybody is to a large extent, right? It depends on who manages it best, I guess. Because I mean, the printer still goes burr. Like, we all love printing our money, and it's backed by absolutely fuck all at the moment.
Toilet paper, not even. So, at the end of the day, you can wipe your ass with it. There's been countries that have done it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've shown them on the Monday show before, where there's like there's literally street sweepers in Venezuela that are sweeping up the money because the money is so valueless that it's just everywhere on the street.
Doesn't make it, yeah. So, yeah, I don't understand their direction, honestly. I wish them well, and I hope to God that these decision-making processes don't bring them to their knees. Because I can't really see myself without these electronics.
No, nor can I. I mean, but I really hope they put some more effort into the US and not just on-the-go stuff. I know it's easier for the on-the-go things, but I don't think that's where their actual strength is.
Well, but if you look at the on-the-go product, it's I think it's in a way smart because all the young generation, like walking around Montreal, people of my age, very few of them wear headphones unless they go for a jog or something, right?
Mm.
But all the young generation, everybody's got earpods or whatever, Beats or Marshalls or Boseys or fucking everything. Like it's just everybody's got headphones. But that's all they can realistically afford. Like, some millennial is not gonna go out and drop fucking 10 grand on a sound bar and another, 4 grand on a TV, make it a $20,000 system because, I want to put it in a motorized floor stand. That's not who buys that.
Again, it's discerning older professionals generally.
So because they have the disposable income, you don't. Yes, they buy it on a credit card because they want their fucking points, but they pay it off as soon as they get home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I just don't get it. Don't get it. But also then, this company is now, I think the steering wheel is held by a much younger generation that, in my opinion, are much more disconnected from the roots of what this company used to be and its core principles, that these changes are happening. That's more or less.
yeah, that's kind of also in many ways would let us gives a glimpse into why the ESG scoring nonsense is there, right? Because it's
Mhm.
much more. I mean, maybe we just fall slightly outside of the sort of grouping, but I don't understand why you would necessarily care what the makeup of your company is if it's all done ethically and like you don't bar anybody for subjective reasons, so to say.
Yes.
Like if the best mechanic is some Mexican female, I really don't care. Like,
Fix the fucking thing, bro.
yeah, but
It's all what matters at the end. I don't care. Like for me, I don't have any issues in the apartment, but a few issues that I had was the fact that, like, I don't care if it's a white guy, black guy, male, female, or a tranny comes in there, as long as they know what the fuck they're doing and they do their job. That's it, bro. Thank you for doing it. Hope I don't have to see you again. Just like the doctor, right?
yeah.
It's good to have, it's good to see, but not too often. God damn it.
Yeah, but I mean, they started caring a heck of a lot about it, and when you basically say we need to hire more women because they're women, not because they're any good, it's sort of like,
What are we doing?
well, it's also like, what are you saying to yourself for the person that's taking the job, right? Like, I hope you can prove them wrong and that you are actually excellent, but it's sort of like, essentially, your new boss is saying, like, I don't really care if you're good or bad. If you're good, it's a bonus, but if you're meh, it's like, at least you're a woman. And it's like,
Yeah,
wait,
that's
what?
not. It shouldn't work like that. I think they should be judging people on their skills, let alone not their gender and percentage of how much we have to fill it these positions with, opposite sex and shit. That's stupid.
Yeah, so that's in the whole ESG thing because there's a buttload of slides. So
Brand partnering. They show Aston Martin, like they've been with Aston Martin since the dawn of time, more or less. It was this.
yeah, they're now also with
Se-
Infinity, I think, and
Are they? That's cool. I guess anything that has Harman.
yeah, because it's not really theirs anymore. I mean,
Steven says it's
also,
not possible to source parts for 10 years. Beolab 9 amps. You can still buy Beolab 9 amps. I actually had I said one speaker, one Lab 9 that came after this huge uh, ice storm here that got fucked. But it was yes, you can in USA. I'm in Canada, so we have the same access to the parts. You can buy the amplifier board be prepared to have your nuggets shaven good because it's not cheap. It's much cheaper. Let me just ask you this: does the speaker turn on at all or not? Is the light come on? Because if the light don't come on, it's not your amplifier board; it's the power supply, which is a way cheaper solution than the amplifier boards. You're not gonna burn the amps. What you're gonna fuck up on the nines, and I know from my own personal experience, is get some extra tweeters. Get some extra tweeters because these will go. They're better tweeters than in the Lab fives, to be honest. But they will go. So that's what you need to buy. At least buy a pair if you're deaf as me. And the only thing I can see going with them is a power supply. Which, if you have it on a surge protector, I don't know where you live, but if you're prone to having a lot of storms and brownouts and power outages and so on and surges, I would put them on a surge protector. But yeah, if you got 2 tweeters in reserve, you're good, man. Go juice your speakers, bro. It's all good. That's right. Yeah, Minnesota, you're fine, bro. You are fine. But yeah, I've seen on the Lab 9 specifically, it's always the power supply boards that go more or less than the amps.
Yeah, the amps rarely go on those generations.
Amps rarely go, man. No. Like,
I mean, the
the
only
most
time
solid
they go
speaker.
in Beolab ones is if the internal stuffing like melts or whatever and shorts.
That's right, because that foam is shite. But it wasn't back then. Again, right? Like, these speakers outlived their,
It's
in my
25 years
opinion,
later. The phone doesn't
design
last 30
operational
years.
performance. No, exactly. It's just what it
Again,
is. Like,
it lasts that long.
way too long. Yeah. Speaking of Lab ones, I still have your set here. Come on, man.
Sweet.
You should drive up to Montreal.
I've never had poutine, so I guess I have to have it at some point.
It'll be a first one for both of us.
Isn't it just gravy on chips or something, or on
It's
fries?
cheese and gravy on the fries, but it's like, I don't know what the fuck it is for the gravy. I haven't had it. I don't know why. Just like, for some reason, this food is revolting to me in a way because it's just so gross.
Cheese on everything, the American way.
But oh yeah, bro. But I think I'm gonna, because there are some poutineries here that are like world renowned.
Wait, they're
so to
actually
speak,
called
right?
poutineries?
Oh yeah. There's a poutinerie over here, man. Fucking, it's all they got, bro. It's hilarious. You can get the poutine in so many combos that, like, it takes definitely an inventive mind to go the lengths that these people go to. And also the smoked beef, bro. Oh, this shit is good.
By the way, if you read through this ESG bit, one thing that, here's that, like, what they care about, and they care the least about money. And if they're going at the rate they're going and nothing changes drastically, it's, to my mind, with the cash flow they have, they're out of money in 4 to 5 years. So it's like, we better hope this new strategy is fantastic, and we're just dumbasses. I mean, or maybe they are like, you are dumbasses because you hate what we do, but you still buy all our shit, which is also very likely to happen.
I just hope they don't go full Ocean Gate on this shit, though.
No. But one thing that apparently, was it the CEO, upper management or something? I forget where it was. I'll have to Control F it.
But I think maybe they're reiterating this longevity thing because the new generation of people that had grown up around very disposable products are very, they're of hard of understanding the fact that things are built to last a very long time, which that never happens with, conventional electronics. So I think they're gonna keep Jeff Martin there for a long time. Guycord says, "How long will Jeff Martin last there?" I think they're gonna keep him for as long as they can, in my opinion, because he is probably the best acoustician that I had ever met in my
Yeah.
personal experience when it comes to
Well,
having a
he's also
fucking
Canadian, so
ear.
I don't think he's
He's too
like
polite.
or too opposed to the politics of this, right? Because I
I
mean,
don't think he gets
I
involved
don't
at
we
all.
don't, we tend to not get into politics, but Canada is not that miles away from these sort of statements,
Oh no.
especially. But I mean, this is another one of these things that stands out to me as weird, right? Like each year, 100% of the global leadership team will receive face-to-face ethics and business conduct training. It's like, are the people you hired like unethical? Like, who are you selecting? Like, I don't understand. Like,
Bunch of
surely you
white-hooded
picked
men.
somebody that had decent ethics to begin with, right? Like, or did you just pick some asshole? Like, or is this code for like we kind of have to like re-educate you? Which I suspect it is more, but when you write it like this, it's sort of like the other thing, like where they say we have to stop discrimination and get against girls and women or women and girls, and it's like, wait,
When
what?
were you?
Yeah, so why were you discriminating against women and girls? Like that seems unethical.
No, I
Like,
think the only unethical thing that I had seen him do in a long time, and which we've had brought up on the podcast for a while, is maybe you should quit calling speakers masters and slaves,
yeah.
especially when you put color of that speaker behind it or in
Yeah.
front of it.
A generic
That
enthusiast over on Twitch said, "Don't forget, Canada and Denmark share a border."
yep, and
He's
essentially we
not
do.
wrong.
But there's a lot of water between that border, man.
It's just Greenland.
But yeah, I
Greenland is not
guess
that far.
that's a stone's throw away.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can see Alaska from Russia, or Russia from Alaska, whatever her name was. That the candidate for U.S. president was. Remember that girl?
Oh God.
I forget her name,
Sarah
but
Palin.
Sarah Palin. That's right. You can see Russia from
Yeah,
Alaska.
but Greenland is Denmark. It's part of the Danish kingdom.
Hmm.
So I mean, you are quite literally neighbors with Denmark. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's also like a bunch of this. Like this seems all very illiberal to me. Like they're now hyper aware of sex, ethnicity, and gender, or race, or however you want to call it. It's like it's this leads to nothing but bad
Trouble.
outcomes.
Yeah, I don't think they should get involved in any of this rainbow pride deal going on and the whole
It's
feminism
not even
nonsense. I think they
it's
should
not
just
even
remain
that,
neutral.
right? It's just it's fine if you're pro women. It's fine if you're pro transgender in many ways, I guess. I mean, the advertising of it is something else, right? But
Well, that's what I don't disagree with. Like, I don't give a fuck who they have in the repair center, as long as when we send our BioLab 5 chassis for repair in March, they're not set to be returned back in October of that year. I really don't care. Hire whoever is skilled enough to fix it. I don't care for their gender. I care for their expertise.
yeah,
That is my main concern. Like, that's, I think, where you should focus y'all's concern too. I don't really care. And you know what? If it's a transgender guy that came to the store and had his fucking A9 broken, whatever, the board, something failed on it, and he wanted to fix, he didn't tell us exactly who he wanted to fix it. Well, he just wanted it fucking done because he misses his product, or she, I guess. It's just that's where it boils down to. People don't care who fixes it. They don't really want to know or care for it. All they care for is the fact that how long am I going to be without the bloody thing? That's their main question.
it's, I mean, but also it's a kind of, in some ways, a euphemism, have an international background. It's like I'm perfectly happy to get more women into STEM, but like, when are you going to be consistent and say, you know what, more women need to be ditch diggers? It's not fair that it's 98% male. Like, you
But
only hear that about the C-suite stuff, right?
but that's also almost a false statement because most of their stuff is being assembled in Czech Republic, so they already have international women working for them because they do go to training in factory. I don't think it's factory 5, whatever the heck, where they were assembling the speakers when I was there in 2015. 2016, because 2015 when the speakers came out, 2016 is when they were trying to offset obviously the production back to Czech Republic's factory, so everything is built there. And bro, like everybody that was one guy, it was all girls being trained. So I don't understand what they're talking about, really. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, they also go on about like the company needs to be more like the clients it's serving, which to me is like, really? Why? Because I buy from you because you're a Danish company, not because I'm Danish. Like if
They're an
if that
international
was the
company,
case,
bro.
right? Like, being an American, it's like B&O is essentially saying, since you still sell stuff to me, we need to be more like Bose. And it's like, why? Please don't.
Yeah.
Like, everybody here is Bose, and it's like, oh, please don't be more like that. Exactly what we hate. Like, I specifically go to B&O because they are Danish, and it has a design language, and it has a look and a feel. And it's like, you don't need to be more middle of everything. Please don't. I mean, I know we harp on the Danish being hard-headed and that sort of thing, but it's also the charming part of the Danish company.
That's right, because they stick to it.
Yeah, it's like that weird Danish thing they do when, like, now everybody's on vacation, right? Because, Denmark, like, we need to be 2 months out of business. Because
but then all the dealers are preparing for it because they know, fuck, come August, July, we're screwed. Like, you need to order all your product, make sure that, you have enough of everything, and, the support dies off a little bit. You can still get people, but it's, it's harder. It's harder because and it's fucking understood. I've been around this company for long enough that I'm not surprised at all, because that's just every year. So it is what it is.
But it is what makes them B&O in many ways. Like, it's just the joke of, it's your router. Is there for a reason? Because, don't get me wrong, Danes, but some of you are quite arrogant. But it may also be a Denglish kind of thing, right? Like how you would say it in Danish, that makes perfect sense and seems pleasant. But then to English-speaking people, it's like, why are you such an ass?
Yeah, exactly. But I came across the same thing when I first moved to Canada, like from Slovak grammar, how you say certain things are offensive to people here. Like, you want to go there? No, right? It's like, or don't you want to go there? Like, that's because that's how we would say it. But in English, you would say, would you like to go there instead, right?
Yeah.
Versus, don't you want to go there, motherfucker? Like, might as well throw that in there. So it's different. And it's different the way that it's communicated. And I see that too, also with people that predominantly speak French, and then they have to interface with me or interact with me on an English level, and it's a tough conversation sometimes with these people because they just don't know the language. So
yeah, it's also customs what it is. And things.
Exactly.
I mean, when an American orders you, it's an order. When a British person orders you, it's a question. And you're not very sure if you can say no to it or not sometimes. And it's quite different. Like, they're both Anglo nations, right? But just that difference alone, I bet you.
Yeah, how it carries through.
I mean, what the Norwegians say about Denmark, what the Danes say about Norway, and then the Swedes, and like how that all teams up is what makes it its own. It's like, please
Hmm.
don't make this more sort of yeah, that slobbery food that was served in the Matrix, right? Like there's no need to be the average, the what's only necessary. Like, be unique, please.
But that's what they always have been. I don't understand why they want to now generalize themselves in that such matter. Like I think it's a huge step backwards in my opinion. Speaking of the or in consideration of the fact that they want to be a niche company and and certain and accommodate these high wealth or worth individuals. Where if you think about it, yes, like these people buy expensive watches. Let's say Patek Philippe. You don't see them on every corner or just being generalized in any way. To own that watch it's an honor, and it's more or less like it's looked at like a family crest. Where
Yeah.
to me, B&O used to be looked like that when like your grandpa bought B&O or your dad bought B&O. It's like one day I'm gonna get the system
Yes.
where I don't think that the generation of younger kind, let's say anybody that's been born after the internet, and how disposable this has all become, they even have a level of understanding that things can last longer than 2-3 years because the obsolescence hasn't built there yet or been built there. Yeah, Henrik would have been a great part of this debate to bring some Danish perspective, but
I don't think he knows any gray zones.
no,
Either
he's
we were
not.
completely stupid or we were completely truthful.
Exactly.
If you're
So, but
listening,
yeah,
Henrik, I love you.
you're greatly missed, man. You got to come back for a podcast for at least one.
But this is why I like Denmark and the Danes, because like that sort of shit is funny to me.
Mm,
Like also in a serious way, it's enjoyable when other cultures stay their own. Like we don't all have to like be so the average of everything. It becomes
mm.
boring.
So,
I mean, yeah, it's just I don't know. Expect more of this nonsense to pretty soon be like we have to tell you about how many women we have. It's like I don't look at a group of people and go 2, 3, 4. No, that's not my group.
mm.
Like it's I don't know. It's weird. And yeah, maybe they need it for some capital investment. It's
I
maybe
don't know. I hope, well, only the time will tell how mistakes are made, you know, or where mistakes were made. And I hope they don't have to revisit that and kick themselves in the foot hard or beat themselves in the head for it. Because to me, this whole projection and of the direction they're going is a big face plant. At some point of time, it's going to be like, what the fuck are we doing? And
it depends a bit on who still has a sway and say, right? Like if excellent products like 50s and 90s and that sort of thing still can sort of fall through the cracks, I think they'll be okay, even with a bad plan.
yeah, but they also need to probably, in my opinion, they also need to innovate and push more product that is the staged category,
Yeah.
because obviously that's where their percentage is the highest, uh, and that's where they can make their most margin. So they need to come up with something. I'm not saying to rival the theater, but maybe they should come up with some solution. Let's say to a different harmony TV, something that moves a little differently per se. New, but I honestly I think that where they're lacking the most is speakers. They need speakers. Like even though like if you look at Lab Fours, which everyone's like piece of shit, whatever. Yes, but they were a starting point. They were $1,100 back then.
Yeah.
Yes, they were expensive. They still sound great to me. They fucking sound very good. But
I'm sorry, I just had a brain blank and it came back to me. One thing where I can see this ESG nonsense work really well, weirdly, is the US for the very high net worth individuals. Funnily enough, in my experience anyway, the very high net worth Europeans are quite conservative in many ways. And they tend to focus more on generational wealth and keep it more. But the very high net worth people here tend to be much more activistic.
And frivolous.
And into that sort of, like, everything must be equal. Although, like, how are you equal to, like, me when you have 500,000 times the amount of money, right? Don't look at that. We must be equal. That sort of thing. And that's the billionaires in this country. So it may be a good tactic to enter America a little bit, but I'm not sure, like, that makes you a lot of friends over time.
No.
It's
well, I think only time will tell. Like I said, I'm very curious where this direction will take the company, and I'm also very curious to what new products they're going to come out with that will sustain that plan in the direction they want to go with. Because just because you made a new color on a Beosound 1 with the Mozart platform doesn't make it a new product. So there needs to be more, and no matter how much you want to skin the cat, people, even the high net worth individuals, may not have the room to have a full surround with fucking, 3 pairs of 50s. They may need something smaller. They may need something that is bookshelf like something on a BeoLab
smaller,
3.
just as
and that's exactly it also. Like, there's also a wife approval factor where you have a decision to make, but you really don't, because at the end of the day you can be right or you can be happy as a married man. So, even though you have all this fucking money, sometimes you just can buy whatever she agrees with you on, because it doesn't go with the decor. Says, bro, you're fucked. So it's I think that they should really revisit that ideology and thought process, but it's already too late because it's all on the paper and agreed and signed on. But we'll see. Hopefully nobody drops a cigarette on that little rubber dinghy they're going, because that makes a hole, and it's not fun.
Yeah, it's, we'll see where we go. I mean, I'm still hopeful in many ways. I don't know. I hope they stop doing stupid shit. I mean, I also do think they need to. Maybe they need to go to, like, I don't know, go to Ohio upper management, see how mainstream you actually are. Like, ask anybody, have you heard of B&O, or use the proper name, Bang & Olufsen? Bang & what? Like, no, like, there's so many people that have no bloody clue. Like, you're special enough as it is, because when you do stupid shit, that's what makes you special too.
The most likely people that will answer yes, I've heard of them, would be the guys that drive Audis and older BMWs where they had B&O sound system in them. That's pretty much the only people that are familiar with it, other than the people that had actually bought B&O or had come across somebody at one point of their life that had B&O.
Yeah, my grandparents-in-law knew of B&O because of that ABT shop in the Chicago area. And like, they own B&O. They have a phone. They have an old BeoCord, and it still works. Again, longevity.
That's right.
It's it's a thing. It's anyway.
We're blabbering now.
Yeah, I'll probably have pictures for next week.
Oh God, I hope they're
of
good.
My escapades with the 50s and everything else. And
are you gonna set up a video of unboxing them?
I don't know where my camera is in all these boxes.
Oh fuck! I would find that, because it's a little bit, I guess.
I have like 120 boxes.
Shit.
And
did you itemize them all?
Not per thing, but I have more than one camera. So, like, if the box says camera, like, I don't which one it is.
Yeah, I was a little more detailed with my shit, and it's still a hard time
Yeah,
when I
but
go to the stores.
I have several boxes, right, with like 8 sets of 6 glasses. So like, am I supposed to itemize all of this shit? Like, it's half of it. It's inherited or not made anymore. Like,
Mm.
I didn't even insure everything because it's like how much is this cup worth? Like, is it 2? Is it 3? Is it $5?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's sort of like it's the only things I really cared about is the stuff that would like bankrupt you if you needed to replace. And there's a lot of mementos and family heirlooms and things which are like
You can't get them back. Yeah.
like I can put a number on it, but like the number won't make me happy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the thing, and those so far all seem to be in one piece. It's just now that the 50s are very, very, very questionable.
There's a huge ass, like there's the Super Mario question mark
I
break
had
hanging
the
over
foresight,
those.
fortunately, to insure them for American prices.
Good.
And they asked me like, but they're not this much. It's like, yeah, go look in America because you're gonna tell me you're gonna give me one for European prices? Like, what good is that if they fall off the fucking boat?
Mm-hmm.
Like then I'm stuck with 28s here. Like that's a downgrade. That's not
a
how
huge
insurance
downgrade.
works.
No.
Like imagine if you like insure your BMW 7 Series, somebody crashes it, and then they say, "We got you covered. Have a 2
Here's an
Series."
M3. Here's an M3 fucked up. And a white tracksuit from Adidas.
Yeah, and some of the Oakleys, obviously.
That's right. White gas cans. Now you got the full douche suit.
Yeah, so fingers crossed. I still have.
I hope they're fine, man. If not, then
I've
yeah,
got
we're
to
gonna
like
have to look
calm
at
my
some
nerves
parts.
for like half an hour, 45 minutes before I get into it.
Just go get a bottle of whiskey.
That's in there somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
Just go get another
I
bottle.
do
of
have
whiskey.
the B&O. What's that alcohol they made?
The Beo rum.
Yeah,
the rum.
I do still have that. Yeah.
Oh, fucking keep that because I want to try that when we meet for sure. We're
It's
drinking
totally
that on the
untouched,
podcast once
fully
I'm in Florida.
unopened. It's
Fucking A, bro. Don't crack it open till I'm over there. We're doing it together on the podcast. We're gonna get wasted that bottle. Fuck.
Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and follow us on all the places. Thank you very much, Balola.
Yeah, something like that.
Sorry if I got your name wrong, and KCBR for supporting the show. I hope you all have a great week. Come join the Discord and that sort of thing if you want a sneak peek if stuff is horrible with the 50s. You'll see that there first, probably. So far,
leave us some likes.
The 17s are all fine so far.
But those are built fucking like tanks, bro.
Well, I also I wrapped them in bubble wrap, then wrapped them quite literally in pillows, then wrapped them in more bubble wrap, and then put them in what you call it, a pillowcase, and then wrap that in towels. Because it's like, again, they're no longer made, and they are fucking ungettable here in the US.
Oh yeah, good luck.
So it's like, again, I put the US average sale price down, but okay, fine if I get that money if they're gone, right? But like, how am I getting them? Like, they're unicorns now.
You have to rebuild them, I guess.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great week, and see you all in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.